looks like Owen managed to find some eggs.
Yeah,
Have you had any problems finding some eggs, Kai?
No, not after Owen. He managed to get the last ones, which it's not been great really, because I've been searching for some eggs everywhere and it's absolutely zero.
Are you an eggs fan, Kai?
They are absolutely cracking. I mean,
brilliant.
Oh
my goodness, that was shocking.
I mean, how do you like your eggs?
Scrambled. But I feel like I can't say that because apparently that's the kids' idea of how to eat eggs.
I love them
Don't
poached.
say fried. Oh, poached.
Yeah,
that's
absolutely.
a bit different, Kai.
I know, but we'll leave the egg talks for now. It's been excellent.
Hello and welcome. I'm Lydia Houghton and this is your 1:30 bulletin. The FIFA 2020 World Cup is officially underway. However, this has not come without controversy. The country has a history of human rights offences. Lots of us will remember summers past, sitting in beer gardens watching the World Cup. However, this year, what with it being November, the weather's a bit more chilly and the beer gardens aren't looking as busy. This is because this World Cup is the first to take place in winter. Will it be a one-off or is this here to stay? Leader of Salford Leisure League's Simon Blinco has started a fundraiser in an attempt to raise money for Greater Manchester charity Cash for Kids, who have an initiative called Mission Christmas.
They do a Mission Christmas every year. It's to try and get kids who would usually go without a gift on Christmas. They try and get every child a gift to donate, so you can either do that by donating a gift or by raising money and they will purchase the gifts.
Residents have been evacuated from their homes in Eccles after police were called to a report of a suspicious item on a building site on Church Street. However, it has now been reported that the item is non-suspicious. That's all for now. Join us at 4:30 for the full programme. The new Chancellor announced a U-turn of almost all the tax measures revealed in the growth plan 3 weeks ago. Jeremy Hunt announced an indefinite shelving of the planned 1% cut to income tax, with the basic rate to remain at 20%. The Chancellor described it being a deeply held conservative value that people should keep more of the money that they earn. Nevertheless, the government doesn't think it's right to borrow at the present time to fund this tax cut. Also, the government's energy price guarantee will only be kept until April. The Chancellor has backtracked on last month's announcement that the energy cap would last until October 2024, reducing the length of the guarantee from 2 years to 6 months. This is all ahead of the medium-term fiscal plan due in 2 weeks' time.
So what do the people of Salford think?
Well, here's what they had to say. And in the past hour, Rebecca Long-Bailey, MP of Salford and Eccles, told us that the Chancellor's announcement of less support with energy bills is a kick in the teeth to those struggling in Salford. As a result of the soaring energy costs, Salford Council is already facing a shortfall of £16 million in its next budget, with its government grant drastically reducing from £450 million to £203 million since 2010, with major staff shortages. And this is not the end of the road, as the Chancellor concluded.
We're here with our reporter, Lydia Houghton, who has been keeping up to date with this evolving story. So, Lydia, what's the update?
Rishi Sunak pulled no punches in warning us there were difficult times ahead in his first speech as Prime Minister. He was formally appointed to the role this morning. He met with King Charles around 11:30 at Buckingham Palace, where he was invited to form a government. The PM then gave a Downing Street speech to the nation, which came just an hour after Liz Truss waved farewell to Number 10. Mr Sunak warned of difficult decisions ahead, stating that he's been appointed to fix the mistakes of his predecessor.
So what do people in Salford think his first job should be?
Well, I went to ask the people just that question.
He could do a little bit more for the working class people, I guess. He's like partying and that, and we're all struggling to pay our bills.
He was trying to put less money for the universal credit people, wasn't he, for people that don't have money? But then he's living in a big lavish mansion and eating posh food whilst we're trying to feed our children.
Well, sorting his government out.
Get the economy sorted, to be honest.
I think he should sort of unite the party. There's a hell of a lot of MPs that are basically pulling in different directions, to be perfectly honest. I think that's his first job, what he should do.
Kind of the right people for the right posts to bring us up.
It's a bit funny that there's 3 Prime Ministers in the space of like a month, is all I'm saying.
God help us if Boris would have come back.
Still a Boris fan, but maybe not in politics.
Mr. Sunak has made history as the first British Asian Prime Minister, which begs the question, what are Salford's British Asians saying about this?
Obviously more Asians step into more government roles because we need more diversity. As diverse people, we are always, like, as Asians, I personally think that we're always complaining about not having enough diversity in the media and government and politics, stuff like that. But who's going to be the one to make that change? Who's going to be the one to make that leap?
Tomorrow, Mr. Sunak will face his first Prime Minister's questions with Labour leader Sir Keir Starmer in the House of Commons. While as the new face in number 10, he'll be hoping for a boost in the polls. A YouGov survey today showed less than a quarter of people think he understands the challenges of everyday life. And in news that has literally just broken, James Cleverly stays as the Foreign Secretary, Dominic Raab is Deputy Prime Minister and Justice Secretary, and Jeremy Hunt will remain as Chancellor. And on that note, on that bombshell, back to you, Jess. With World Cup fever infecting us all here at Salford now, we've asked you on our Twitter how far you think England will get in Qatar.
And it's fairly convincing.
Wow.
I think a lot of us think we're going to get to the semi-finals at least.
I think we've got a certain level of confidence, but not quite final level confidence.
Well, here's 3 of them, and Emma White said it's coming home.
Oh, that's quite eager, Emma.
Joe Douglas has also said we're going to win it.
Ahead of yourself.
And Sam has said he'll set his left leg if we don't win, which is quite peculiar. But
come on, England. We don't want him losing his leg.
I mean, will you be going to see any of the matches?
No.
No?
I've had far too much football talk in the studio today. It's doing my head in.
Oh, I'll be off on Friday to the pub to be watching England versus USA. And I will be in a beer garden because I don't think the cold's too bad at the moment.
I think you were one of the many boys thinking that England will win.
So, yeah, I think, well, after today's win, we're definitely going to win the whole thing.
That's a certain level of confidence. Kai, we'll see if that comes to pass.
5, 4, 3, 2.
Hello, it's 2 p.m. I am Lydia Houghton and here's today's main stories. Protests are expected in Barton Moss this week over fears of fracking in the area. Liberal Democrat councillor Alex Warren told Salford Now that fracking is not the way to solve the climate crisis. The pound has hit a record low against the dollar following the government's biggest tax cuts in 50 years on Friday. This shopper in Salford is fed up with the economic situation. The Mayor of Salford has criticised a decision to house over 200 asylum seekers in a hotel in the city. Paul Denon said that the City Council were not consulted over the government decision and questioned why wealthier areas in the south of England were not sharing in the responsibility. Salford Central Railway Station is set to close for 5 months for engineering works to take place from January until late May. This has brought huge stress to travellers who use this route daily. Now for the weather. The sun is out, but it's feeling a little more autumnal this week with temperatures of 14 degrees. Grab your umbrella and expect downpours all week and thunderstorms scheduled for Friday. And finally, do you know of any local heroes? Then why not nominate them for the Spirit of Salford Awards? The awards are an opportunity to pay tribute to the people and public services that make a difference in Salford. Applications are now open. That's it for now. Join us later for our news programme. Hello and welcome to Louder the podcast, where we aren't afraid to talk about the big issues and talk about them loudly.
Hello and welcome to Salford. I'm Liam.
And I'm Lydia Houghton. And welcome to the and outside at the new Oxford Convention Centre, where we are surrounded by sofas and cheerful cafes and very lively and hopefully lovely environment. And I can tell found that the beauty win on my representative just how happy to
Yeah, it's fantastic to be back here at one of my favourite pubs in Salford. But on more serious note, the cost of living crisis has been a topic of many news stories over the past few months.
In today's programme, we will be hearing from the Salford hospitality sector, as well as members of the public who have been directly affected by the crisis. We mentioned that we are live at the New, a local pub in Salford that has been enjoyed by many Salfordians for many years. Our reporter, Kenna McCann, enjoyed a pint at landlord Tim Flynn before we arrived. Homelessness is on the rise. Over 3 months of this year, 3 Salford households have been left at risk of homelessness after no-fault evictions. But what is a no-fault eviction? Also known as a Section 21 notice, it's the process of evicting tenants at will, where the landlord has the option of ending the tenancy at any time without any proper notice. This can cause problems as some tenants are left with nowhere to go. Especially at Christmas time, families can be left trapped in emergency accommodation. The Department for Levelling Up, Housing and Communities released figures that show that England has seen an increase of 3/4 in households facing homelessness or at risk of homelessness, totalling 5,940 with 671 in Salford. The DLUHC have promised £316 million to combat this issue. It was revealed today that the residents of the 24-storey apartment building, Briar Hill Court in Pendleton, will see their rent increase by a massive £105 a month, starting on Christmas Eve. In a battle to afford the rising rent, will this mammoth cost increase leave even more residents of Salford at risk of homelessness this Christmas?
Lydia, what is the background to this?
Well, you may have seen the shocking documentary last week in which BBC Panorama embedded an undercover reporter in the adult mental health unit. The images were horrifying. It's a painful but necessary watch. The 11 Salford students who are currently on placement at the Aidenfield Centre are being given the option to relocate. As for upcoming placements, Salford University is scrapping those completely.
Did you speak to anyone from the university?
Yes. Margaret Rowe, Executive Dean of the University School of Health and Society, said, "The well-being of our students is our top priority, and we know that this situation may be worrying and upsetting for those affected."
And what is the action being taken at Edenfield Centre?
A spokesperson for Greater Manchester Mental Health Foundation Trust told us that they have undertaken clinical reviews of patients affected and services provided, suspending several staff pending further investigation. The centre has now been closed to new admissions.
So what is the perfect time to put up your Christmas decorations? We asked on Twitter what your opinions are.
64% of voters said that December the 1st is the perfect time, with only 14% opting for November. One person stated that putting decorations up before December is crazy. So Connor, have you put your Christmas decorations up?
I haven't this year. I've been really late to the party, but I do hope to plan over the weekends to get my decorations up. What about you?
Yeah, I'm thinking the same. I think November is a bit early, to be honest, but you know, the start of December, the weather's become wintry, you know, people are putting them up, there's Christmas trees in shops. I think it's a great time.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, have you been to the Manchester Christmas markets?
I have. I've been to the markets twice now. It's really good. So I've bought stuff for decorations. I just haven't put them up yet, but there's so much stuff you can buy at the markets. What about you?
Yeah, I'm the same. I haven't bought Christmas decorations, but the hot chocolate is next level.
Yeah. Have you had the mulled wine yet?
I haven't.
Oh.
Should I try it?
Get the mulled wine.
Yeah.
It's brilliant.
It's got to be good because the hot chocolate is extra good.
Yeah, so, I'll have to try it out.
Have you got any more Christmas plans?
Well, I'm going home next week, so yeah, like that's going to be the plan then, just to go home and spend time with the family and just, I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be great.
Yeah. Christmas time is a great time to spend with family.
Yeah.
Very precious, very precious. So that's all from us at Keys News. The programme may be over, but you can keep up with us 7 days a week on our social media at Keys News. Have a great rest of your day.